Audi TT Mk1, clean and detail your engine bay.
Hi all, Andy here and welcome back to the channel where today I'm talking about cleaning and detailing your Audi TT engine bay. Now many of us spend our weekends lovingly polishing and cleaning our Audi TTs so they look great on the roads. But I bet not as many of us get under the bonnet to keep that looking just as clean. If you go to a car meet, I'm always surprised by the level of detail that real enthusiasts go to keep their engine bays looking great and focus on the details that we don't normally see. Now this is not only an aesthetic thing. I can see two real benefits for keeping your engine bay clean yourself. One, if you're taking it to a garage for some work, I'm sure they'll appreciate if the engine's clean and tidy and a nice place to work. Or if you're working on the car yourself at home, you too will reap the benefits of having a nice clean place to work and not up to your armpits in grease. Two, diagnosing and pinpointing problems and spotting leaks will be much easier if your engine bay is not caked in crap. Now there are loads of tutorials out there on cleaning and dressing your engine bay for general cars, so I'm going to focus today on what you can remove from the engine bay to clean on the TT, how to clean it and how to put it back together.
So what products and tools are we going to use? Firstly, we need some different types of brushes with stiff bristles. A toothbrush is a good scrubbing brush to get into the nooks and crannies of the engine. If you do not have an old one, make sure you use your wife's, they never mind. I also have some smaller makeup and fine paint brushes to get into some even smaller crevices. You can't get everything off, but you can use them to poke or clean areas you cannot reach. One thing I've always shunned in the past are microfiber cloths. It's always been old t-shirts, socks, etc, but using a pack of proper cloths makes a difference. They seem to be more absorbent and suited to the job, and you can pop them into the washing machine afterwards. They come in a variety of colours, so you can use different colours for different cleaning jobs, like wiping, applying degreaser, drying and polishing. You need a vacuum with a long nozzle for hosing out the leaves, rubbish and dirt from the engine bay. From a cleaning fluids and liquids perspective, starting with some good old warm water and household dishes liquid to clean the general grime. It's also essential to get the plastics clean before you set about them with the restorers. You'll need some good spray degreaser to shift some of the oil and grease that's built up and marking your engine components and paintwork. A trim restorer is also essential when cleaning the plastics in the engine bay. I use this Ultimate Black Plastic Restorer to get the plastics back to life before I use the secret ingredient. That is the Spray Original Black Trim Restorer. There are other brands available as well, such as the Turtle Wax version and Back to Black. This adds the deep shine to the plastics, and a two-product method seems to work best. The plastics look almost new when you use them. Think of this like your top coat. Lastly, a can of spray white lithium grease is good to replace the lubrications in the engine bay once you've had the old grease out of the way. It is heat and water resistant, so helpful on the various hinges, catches and releases under the bonnet. Before we start, let's take a look at the condition of the engine bay. It's dirty and tired looking, not as bad as some I've seen, but the plastic is faded and grubby. There is oil and dirt on all of the paint surfaces, and the rubber hoses all look grimy. In fact, the once clear labels are covered in a mix of grease and dust. So let's get started. Step 1. Bonnet underside clean. One area of neglect is the underside of the bonnet itself. Taking a cloth and some hot soapy water is often enough to liven this up. It's surprising how often this gets missed with everyone burying their heads into the engine bay. If there are any oil splashes or grease, give them a rub with some degreaser sprayed onto a microfiber towel. Doing this first will also stop you from dripping dirty water onto the nice clean engine. Step 2. Bonnet hinges and wing tops. I've seen this on many lovely looking engine bays, dirty bonnet hinges. They seem to get forgotten. Over time, the grease slides down the stays from the hinge and the dust and grime sticks to them looking a right mess. So degrease them thoroughly and also give the whole mechanism a good going over with a stiff brush. This should get most of it out. It's quite difficult to get right into the hinge mechanism that bolts at the top of the wing area, but you can get it looking sparkling with some small brushes to clean in these areas. The residue from the windscreen washers sits in a built-in depression just below the hinge, so make sure you clean the gunk out. Once nice and clean, don't forget to give the moving parts of the hinge a good squirt of lithium white grease and open and close the bonnet a few times to work the grease in. Wipe away the excess and they should now look like brand new. Step 3 involves removing the various plastic trim panels that are used for aesthetics under the bonnet. Not all of these are essential, and you may actually choose to do away with these and show the engine and mechanicals off. However, I'm going to put these back once I've cleaned the engine bay, but also give them a really deep clean and restore back to black. Looking in my engine bay, the plastic panels are faded badly, dirty and covered in a bit of oil spill expected from 18 years of use. I suspect they have never been cleaned. So the panels you can easily remove for cleaning are the engine cover, the battery cover, the dipstick trim, the water expansion trim panel, 2 slam panel trims that join to make one at the front of the engine, the airbox casing, and the windscreen scuttle panel. Most of these will unbolt or unscrew with a Phillips or Torx bit apart from the scuttle panel. That needs the windscreen wiper arms to be removed, which I have covered in my cabin air filter replacement video. However, we will start with that, and here is a quick rundown. Remove this rubber sealing strip from the front of the scuttle panel. This holds it in place at its front edge. Mark on the windscreen with a bit of tape where the wipers sit on the screen for alignment when refitting. Next, pop the top off the wiper arm nuts and undo these 10mm nuts. Taking a wiper arm puller, tighten the tool under the arm around the bolt and prise it free. Label each wiper arm as you remove them so you know which side is which. With the wiper arms out of the way, on the back of the scuttle panel is the feed pipe for the windscreen washers and electrical connectors for the squirters, so disconnect these carefully too. Lift the scuttle panel free of the car. Before cleaning the scuttle, take some soapy water and a microfiber towel or a toothbrush and remove all of the detritus that has built up on the windscreen where it meets the panel. You can see it's caked on good, but comes off easy with a good wipe. Give the bulkhead paintwork a good clean too. It's starting to look like new. With the scuttle off, give the recess a good vacuuming. Before showing you how I clean these plastic trims, let's get the rest removed from the engine bay. The battery cover is held in place with 3 plastic clips, but the fuses contained inside it simply slip out of the back with a wiggle. The slam panel trims are next, and you free these by popping out the plastic retainer plugs and removing the 2 pieces. This is followed by loosening the single Phillips screw from the water expansion bottle cover trim and removing the screw and panel which just lift off. Next, remove the 2 screws that fix the engine cover in place, and this also should just lift out of the way. Most of the plastic is now gone, but you can see the dipstick trim in the foreground with some obvious oil spills on it, darkening the plastic in patches. There are 2 screws that hold this in place, and be careful removing it. I have heard the dipstick is a bit fragile on the TT. Lastly, I'm going to remove the air filter box casing, so I have good access to the various rubber hoses on the side of the engine. I will not go into detail on how to remove that here, as I have covered it in my video on removing and replacing the air filter, but will leave a link to it above. Step 4 is cleaning the engine bay panels. This is best done outside, and if you have the bonus of a pressure washer, even better, but not essential. You can see by looking at these panels up close in the daylight just how faded and dirty they are. The process is essentially the same for all of the panels, so follow the steps on all of them. Firstly, get your soapy water and a toothbrush and give them a good scrub, and I mean a good scrub. You want all traces of dirt and grease gone. Using a dish soap like Fairy Liquid will help shift the grime and oil. Once you have them scrubbed, hose down or wash off all traces of the soap and allow to dry. This should look a little better, but needs the next part of the process. Now you want to take the plastic trim restorer and rub this into all the plastics. Rub this in very liberally. Make sure it is all covered and let it soak in for a couple of minutes before buffing this off. You should start to see the dark colours returning and an even look to your plastic. But we are not done yet. Next, take the original black spray-on trim restorer and give the plastics a good coating. Allow this a minute or so to work its magic and then buff it off to a high shine. I think the results speak for themselves on the panels even before going back on the car. Although not strictly the engine bay, I felt the front grille was letting the TT down too, so I gave it the same treatment. A good soapy wash and scrub, a generous coating of the trim restorer to get rid of the faded look, and then finally a top coat with the high gloss original black, which is standard even me. The grille is really popping now and complements the plastics in the engine bay. Step 6 is the engine bay clean. Starting at the front, under the ends of where the slam panel trims sit are the tops of the headlights. They are not normally seen as obscured by the trims, but covered in dirt and are an easy clean. Using a dry brush, remove the loose debris. Then, with a wet cloth with some soap, give the tops of the lights a wipe. using a toothbrush if you want to get in the crevices. Give it a dry with a microfiber cloth and then add some trim restorer. If you compare these before and after shots of the lights and their serial number labels, you can really see a difference. With the airbox out of the way, this gives some great access to some of the engine bay that is normally too tricky to reach. Get the vacuum in here again, as there is bound to be leaves and rubbish. The inner wing paintwork can be cleaned and polished with a soapy cloth, dried and then waxed. There are a few plastic covers and parts in this area at the rear of the engine bay, such as the air pump relay box, that can be brushed down, cleaned with a soapy cloth, dried and then restored with the trim restorer. There are other components lower down under the airbox housing that clean up nicely with a soft damp cloth. Even though they are unlikely to be seen, it is still worth doing. We can now take a look at the various rubber hoses that adorn the engine bay. Carefully inspect these as they may be brittle, but it also gives you a great chance to check for holes, cracks or splits. One at a time, and working with some soap and degreaser on a cloth or toothbrush, give each one a good wipe as best as possible. I found that a lot of my hoses were in great condition considering the age of the car. You may choose to replace these with a coloured silicone set which will look more noticeable with a clean. I'm staying standard but pleased with how these hoses look after a good wipe down with a clean cloth to dry them. To give them that deep black shine again, it is safe enough to use the plastic trim restorer again on your hoses, along with a finishing touch with the original black spray. Inside the engine bay on the driver's side is the expansion tank, which has yellowed on the inside with age. I cannot do a lot about that other than replace the tank, which I could not do for this video as it's all about restoring or cleaning what I have. So a good scrub and a wipe down gives it a new lease of life. The charcoal canister highlighted here tends to attract dust, so a good brush down, a scrub with a toothbrush and a coat of trim restorer has it looking like new. You can also restore these hoses and make them shine along with the paintwork on the inner wing. You do need to work your hand in here though, as it is rather tight. Getting the rocker cover clean, which is essentially the top of your engine, will prove a bigger challenge. I could take this off, have it blasted or painted and then refit using a new gasket, but that is a project I will save for another day. Perhaps when the gasket is showing signs of leaking. For now I'm going to scrub the areas I can easily reach with a toothbrush and some degreaser and make it as clean as possible. A toothbrush really pays off here. It can get into all the nooks and crannies. You could pull the ignition coils out to get even more of the rocker cover exposed, but I do not want to lose anything down inside the spark plugs. One thing I'm going to do is to get the vacuum reservoir and hoses out of the way of the passenger side of the rocker cover so I can give the brackets a clean and reach that side of it. So slide the vacuum hoses off the mounting bracket and remove the 10mm retaining nut, and you should be able to wiggle the reservoir out between the hoses. Next, undo the hex bolts holding the mounting bracket in place, and you should have access to the top of the rocker cover to give it a good scrub. I'm not overly impressed with my results here, and to get this back to a true showroom look, I think I need to have it blasted and painted off the car. For now, it will have to do. Reassemble the brackets, hoses and reservoir, and it does look somewhat better. While cleaning the rocker cover front, I noticed this handy little plate. It says BAM on it, so that answers any doubts I may have had as to what engine I actually have. If you want to know where this plate is, I have arrowed its location here on the engine bay after giving any other exposed and accessible parts a wash and rub with the soapy cloth, such as the anti-roll bar and fan housings at the front of the engine bay, and applying some trim restorer. The engine bay looks like this without its plastic trim panels in place. The airbox is already back in and the scuttle panel is also in place, looking clean and black. Let's look at some before and after shots of the engine bay. I think you will agree there is a massive improvement from the work I've carried out. There is plenty more I could do, such as painting of the rocker cover or replacing of the hoses for new ones, but from a restoration perspective this is fine for now. Plus it will be much cleaner to work on in future, and I will now not be embarrassed to open my bonnet when someone wants to look underneath. After refitting the trim panels and giving them a final coat of original black, I am fairly satisfied for now compared to before I started the cleaning. Take a look for yourself and see what you think. Here are before and after shots with the plastic trim attached.
So that's the engine bay restore complete, and I'm fairly satisfied with it. The plastics look great. Lots of the hoses are now clean and all the gunk removed, and yeah, overall it's not a bad job. Highly recommend taking it on. I hope this video has helped you somewhat on your own engine bay restore, and I'll be interested in the comments to see what you have and haven't done that I've done differently. So make sure you leave me a comment and hopefully give me a thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber, please think about subscribing for future content. So thanks again for watching and take care. See you soon.